Today's lesson is Lesson 8, a controversial find. Imagine for a moment that you are with your siblings in the middle of the garden. Your mother has sent you out to weed it, and the outer edges are the thickest, full of encroaching grass and weeds crawling their way toward the fringe of the garden borders. Your younger sister says, "Dibs on the middle row." Your older sister and younger brother are debating which section will be theirs, when one action makes everyone go silent. Standing tall, even though you aren't the oldest nor the biggest, you solemnly declare, "I'll do it." Your brothers shrug, and the argument is dropped. You know it is the right thing to do, and you are willing to do what has to be done. You work longer and harder than anyone else. This is the true story of the memoirs of today's explorer, Benjamin Franklin Mudge. Now that you have had a glimpse into the character and childhood, let's take a closer look at this fascinating connection to the study of dinosaurs. Meet Benjamin Franklin Mudge, born in 1817 in Maine. Benjamin Mudge had a wonderful childhood. His parents taught their children the value of hard work and good habits that proved to be an asset for Mudge all throughout his adult life. He went to school where he studied natural history, law, and science, and he graduated with the Master of Arts in his early 20s. Though he had a keen interest in science, Mudge chose to begin his career as a lawyer. He was known to be fair and equitable in his dealings. After he graduated, he moved to Kentucky, where he worked on an oil refinery as a chemist. However, this job was short-lived, and due in part to his abolitionist views, Mudge moved his family to Kansas, where he helped people escape in the Underground Railroad. A man who held many different roles in his lifetime, Mudge later took a position as a state geologist of Kansas. Here he was given the daunting task of directing the Kansas Geological Survey as assignment of 5 men to explore the landscape and features of the state of Kansas. The team was given 1 year to complete this assessment, and there was lots of work to do. Much of the land was inhabited by indigenous peoples, and the small group had to leave the populated trails to explore and survey indigenous territories and regions, which could have been dangerous depending on the region. Despite the difficulties, Mudge and his team were successful. Mudge eventually wrote the first book about geology of Kansas based on what he learned on this journey. With his education and experience, he then taught science for the Kansas State Agricultural College. During his summers off, he continued adventuring throughout Kansas, searching for fossils. Did you know that Mudge was primarily a geologist and fossil hunter? He collected any fossils that he found and sent them to the resident experts at the time to classify and study them. However, not everything that he came across was a dinosaur. In fact, he was even known to find fossilized plants. Paleobotany is the study of plant fossils, not to be confused with palynology, which is the study of fossilized spore and pollen. Check out the plant fossil here, and if you want, do additional research to explore other plant fossils online. A groundbreaking discovery. In 1872, Mudge discovered something highly controversial, a fossilized bird with teeth. He sent the fossil to a man named Othniel Marsh, remember him? Who was eager to claim the credit. Marsh originally said the bones must be from a bird, while the jaw was from a toothed dinosaur. It was months later that he realized his mistake and named the new species Ichthyornis dispar, and published the incredible discovery. You might be wondering what was the big deal about a fossil bird. Have you ever seen a bird with teeth? Their sharp beaks and smooth bills are known today to be toothless. So how is it possible that a species with the same hollow bones of a flying animal could have the teeth of a saurian lizard-like creature? Some people were less than pleased about the discovery, which they suggested evolution a bit too strongly. Charles Darwin's book on the origin of the species had been published not long before and brought with it sharp debate. Later, Darwin would use the Ichthyornis as a prime example of evolution to support his theory. From careful study, scientists believe that the Ichthyornis had a larger brain than most birds we know today. It was built for sustained flight and not very big. The tips of his teeth pointed backward, kind of like hooks, and were only present in the middle of the jaw. Scientists believe they used these to catch fish and hold them tight as they flew up the coast. Not much bigger than a seagull, this small bird made a big splash in the world of science. Bird fossils were very rare because of their hollow bones. Over the years, the Ichthyornis was considered by evolutionists to be an unsuccessful branch of evolution. While they bear similarities to dinosaurs at the time, they have no modern relatives. A recent discovery, extra. In 2012, a young university student in Kansas was exploring and came across some bones sticking out of the ground. He removed the chunk of limestone to investigate it further back on the campus. The more he carefully extracted, the more convinced he became that these were no ordinary bones. With some help, Chris Super was able to get a full CT scan, revealing a beautiful, preserved Ichthyornis. Since then, scientists have been able to use a 3D scanner to scan all the specimens found to date and create a 3D model of this amazing bird. Final days. In 1873, Mudge got into a disagreement with the college and was fired. He wrote to his friend Marsh and was offered a job as a fossil hunter. He spent the next years of his life searching for fossils full time and sent what he found to Marsh at Yale University. While the Bone Wars brought a mass influx of fossils in the scientific community, most of the discoveries that Cope and Marsh were credited with were actually found by members of their team, including men like Benjamin F. Mudge. Mudge was a man who was known for his strong convictions and passionate beliefs. He was well educated, a leader in the state, and a respected teacher who raised up other budding young scientists who shared his passions. This even included a young man named Charles Sturgeonberg, who eventually ended up working as a fossil hunter for Edward Cope, the competition during the Bone Wars. Mudge died in 1879 from a stroke, which the scientific community found as a great loss, stating in his obituary that he would be remembered forever as an explorer and discoverer. And that concludes lesson 8. So I hope you enjoyed that.